it's Gila Nehemia, and welcome to Sacred Erotic Poetry, Sacred Sexuality and Ascension podcast. I haven't been on for quite some time. I noticed my last recording was on December 21st of 2022, so it's been a while. And I'm doing it on the new moon in Taurus. The date is May 20th, almost exactly 5 months, 2023. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy for those of you who may be tuning in to me, maybe for the first time. Maybe you have been listening to my podcast for some time. A lot has changed, and I believe a lot has changed for all of us. And I just wanted to come on to say congratulations, or I witness you, I honor you for so many changes that have been happening in our lives as a collective, as we are birthing the new earth and really grounding it into the foundations, so that we can be the forerunners of a new society, a free society, a just society, a society that are stewards of the planet. I feel like I've taken this time out not only to change my own personal life in whatever ways I needed to do as a mom, as a provider, as a balanced human being that is in service to the planet and to the divine. I also feel like in doing my own self-care, I've been able to care for others in ways I would have never thought. I was just actually reviewing in Facebook a memory of a few years ago when I used to go live very often after I came back from India, on a trip I took with my kids for 6 months. And I would share a lot of my thoughts, and I've been quite inward these months, these many weeks. And I feel like it is really important to ebb and flow, because we are in not only spiritual evolvement, but also an evolvement of our consciousness, our beings, our bodies. Unless we ground all of this into our bodies and process it thoroughly, I feel like we're totally unable to be really present with what is going on. So what I feel like this new moon in Taurus energy is about is this real flowering of this new paradigm of our lives. I've been hearing about solar flares, and I'm not in touch with all of that, but I have been seeing Venus in the skies, and it's like, whoa, I usually don't see this very bright star shining, but I have been these last few days, and my dog too is shedding vigorously at this time, which is springtime here in Israel. And very, I guess, what's the word? It's very unseasonable that it rains quite often. Even though it is spring, we don't really experience spring. In the many years that I've been here, about 9, it's usually straight from winter into summer, with maybe, a couple of weeks of spring. But this spring has been prolonged with some cold weather, some warm weather, a mix of the two, which reminds me of New York State, where I used to live for many years, where we have a very long winter, then, weeks of spring, and, everything is like in its time. And I'm feeling this recollection of the past as I step into the future, and I share that with you because you may be feeling some of the same as well. Pieces of your past are kind of coming in to your present day, but not with any kind of sadness or any kind of regret. It's more of just an awareness, this kind of, knowing, like, that was, and isn't that curious? And you may not even know what will be, or maybe you do, but you're just allowing this deep surrender. And I'm surrendering now to this moment. I was just actually sharing with my children, I wish I was doing this podcast more regularly. And they're just like, pop in every once in a while when you want to. So I'm going to try that out. I'd like to say that I'm going to be here twice a month, but I'm not sure. So if you're enjoying these words, I'm so happy you're here. If you've just popped in and out, that's totally fine. Wherever we are in our random meetings, that is totally perfect. And when we just can truly be, and I think that this has been my struggle, a person who's been through a lot of PTSD and domestic violence and challenges in relationships, abandonment, you name it, probably I've had some of it, as we all have had, because I don't think anybody who has been on this planet has been immune to any type of trauma. Because I believe the earth also experiences it, and we are part and parcel. We are totally intertwined with Mother Gaia. So I just wanted to share that I think that this is a moment of this true unfolding. We are no longer affected by what was, and we are able to see that we've been through this this birthing process, this intertwining of souls, these synchronicities, and we're able to truly be in full gratitude and full openness into the present moment. And no longer, I used to think about what I wanted and how I don't have it, focusing on the lack, and then moving into the space of like, okay, I'm aware that that is lack, and moving out of that scarcity into an abundance mindset. And now it's more of like, I am just in fully receiving abundance, fully in surrender to what is, and always being grateful for every single moment as it unfolds. And I was striving towards that for quite some time until I just completely gave up all control. And I think that has been my biggest challenge in my entire process, is to give up the control. To give up the control, give up the timelines, give up the dates, give up the goals, give up the body image, like all of that, just completely and fully surrender to what is, and always being kind of intuitively wise of what I needed. I think that has actually been the running thread throughout my entire life, is that intuitive wisdom. I just kept listening. First it was really faint, probably for many years, and then it became louder until it's now my way of being. And at times, if I tango out of it, I know how to tango back. And I think my animals and my children and my surroundings really do help me. So what I'd like to say to you today, for those of you who are listening, who want to connect more into their own intuitive wisdom and to step more into their full truth, is to do whatever feels right to you. Would I have ever imagined that I would be back working in as a full-time worker for a high-tech company and still doing my coaching and serving the planet in any way that I see fit? I would have said no, a few years ago, but I feel like I am finally truly balanced, using my gifts and knowing that there are more to share and more to expand upon as I continue my journey. And I am so happy to be sharing it with anyone I come across in any part of my day and in any part of my work. And I'm not going to say everything is always full of roses, but I know I have the balance to understand that whatever is happening to me is for me, and it's not only about me. Like, the world continues and the world is evolving, and I am an important part of the microcosm and the macrocosm of the energies on this planet. And I feel like that is an important part I'd like to share with you as well, because sometimes we feel like, what does it even matter? Those of you who've had 9-to-5 jobs, sometimes you might feel that way. I know I always did, which is why I didn't want to go back to work. But I don't feel that way anymore. I really do feel like I'm a contributing member in anything that I do and anything that I take a part in. And I think it's just a mindset shift, because I feel like wherever I am, people are contributing to my life, and I'm contributing, to their lives and to the betterment of the organization that I'm working with. And so when you see it that way, it doesn't feel so onerous, and it doesn't feel like you're being used. And I think when we have come from traumatic backgrounds, we may have felt that we were being used as an instrument of someone else's pleasure or someone else's detriment, whatever, we were kind of being, taken into this tide, and we weren't able to stop it, even if it wasn't serving us. And so I feel like now, especially in this new moon, or coming up to this new moon, we've been able to determine what is it that we need, what is it that we deserve, how do we shape our lives in the way that is really harmonizing to our soul, to our soul's blueprint, to our soul's song. And I want to emphasize that, because that alignment is truly like, I see this wand, and I see that we are all aligning into this wand wherever we are on our path towards that. And the more that we kind of close our eyes in stillness and listen to that silence, listen to those whispers, listen to the wind and the birds, and truly just take it all in as empty vessels, we step into more of that alignment each and every moment. We can have endless inner critics, right, that go on in our minds. But as soon as we stop and say, none of that is true. The only truth is in this current moment, where nothing existed before and nothing exists after. It is just the now. Then everything is possible. It's like every moment we have a new slate. And every moment we can call upon the previous moment, where we can remember the truth that we are all powerful, that nothing is set in stone, that every thought and every occurrence that ever happened. It has no storyline. There is no storyline. Imagine that, like you watch a movie, but there's no storyline. It's just like images that are all put together. We infer the storyline, right? We create meaning out of nothing. But what if all there is this moment? It may have been building blocks that are going up towards another, but we don't actually always see that, right? It's only in hindsight. There was like, oh yeah, that was probably what it was. It probably was. Because what your feelings are the truth. Yet, we don't have to make a story out of it, right? We don't have to say anything negative about ourselves. We can just be that person. We can affirm that our being and our breath is enough. With that, I'd like to just take a moment to breathe. Let's take 3 deep breaths from deep within our diaphragm all the way up to our upper chakras. And I just took a moment to pause, because I'm probably not going to be recording for a few more, a very long podcast. It's going to end in a few minutes. And I just wanted to share that it's in those pauses, in those moments of rest, as we allow ourselves to truly just step into full stillness. We do not have to always be productive. We can just completely unwind. We can be lazy. I'm giving you the permission to rest, to be with yourself, to be in your own space, to dream, to allow in many, many moments, hours, days of just emptiness, of enjoyment, I think those of us that have been through a lot of challenges are almost feel unable to really enjoy all of our pleasures. And that also means space and time. So I'm inviting you to take the time. Take the time. Take your 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 time to just be with you. To know that anything that you are truly aligned with is already aligned to you. And there is no running after anything. There's nothing you actually need to do but be you. But be in full surrender of it. And allow yourself to take the opportunity as it presents itself. Though you don't need to find it, it will find you. What you seek is seeking you, as Rumi says. And as all of these quotes and coincidences, quote unquote, synchronicities, aka number sequences, whatever you feel is truly guiding you, allow it to guide you. Allow yourself to take the breadcrumbs as they come, and know that we are not in any linear competition. We are all in our own spaces, moving. We're in motion in this temporal process that can go on for eons, right? And that can move in and out of worlds on a continual basis. Because we are multidimensional beings. We communicate through our heart space. And as we connect in the silence deeper and deeper to our own hearts, we magnetically move worlds by just sitting in stillness. That complete sadhana. That sadhana is attainable to each and every one of us. The path of dharma, the path of truth, is really, I feel, straight in my heart. And the more I connect to that heart, that dharmic path unfolds in each and every moment. And the more true I am to myself, really showing up as myself in every single avenue of my life, I'm able to truly intertwine with all the pieces of myself. I'm no longer fractured. I'm no longer broken. I'm no longer heartbroken. I'm continually resilient. I'm continually reinventing what it means to be me. And I'm continually showing up in a space of authenticity. And I feel like that's what this new moon in Taurus is truly asking us to be, is authentic to who we are, authentic to what we truly deserve, and picking up all the pieces, whether they're worn or they're torn, but picking all of them up and merging into wholeness. I feel like this is the new path of wholeness. It's calling a new era of wholeness and sovereignty, energetic sovereignty, creative sovereignty, sexual sovereignty, a true alignment of all parts of ourselves, so that we are no longer fractured, but we are one with ourselves, one with each other, and one with all beings. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy this podcast, please share and let me know. And I hope to come on once again sometime soon, to be announced or to be determined when. And thank you so much for listening. Aho, and so it is. And I'll end with 3 ohms. Om. you enjoy this podcast and you'd like to connect with me or work with me further, please go to my website, gilanahemia.com, for more information to schedule a 15-minute free chat with me or a 30-minute strategy call. I am offering both personal mentoring programs, writing programs, as well as group mentoring. Thank you. Namaste. Om Shanti. Shalom.